So, what is the content that you have to know for the January exam? There is, of course, the part that you have already seen in the previous video lessons, more specific the parts about motivation, inspiration, and collaboration. But these lessons are just the onset for the core of this course, namely, understanding the importance of critical thinking as the basis for creativity. Everybody, including me and you, is full of prejudices. Prejudices are beliefs you have of the world that make you see the world in a predetermined way. They block new ways of looking and understanding the world around you and, in that sense, hinder true creation. To enable creation, and thus creativity, you must try to see your own prejudices and beliefs and those of others and see them for what they are. Pre-programmed structures that you get through your biological and environmental background. You can't avoid them, but you should be aware of them. You must also try to see what the consequences of these beliefs are and try to think them through. That is the core of the second part. Make some room for new things by putting some prejudices and beliefs into perspective. So, how will we go about to realize that goal? As mentioned in a previous lesson, I won't be doing a lot of videos about the content, and you will have to do most of the study of the material by yourself or in small groups with the help of a basic structure that I'll introduce in this lesson. That structure uses 4 main themes to order critical thinking. The first theme is called the virtuality of reality and has everything to do with the realization that what we experience might not be what really is. We know that our senses are not always trustworthy. We know that sometimes things we thought were absolute certainties suddenly prove to be not that certain at all. That merits doubt and is worth investigating. This theme has everything to do with the relation between reality and knowledge. How do we know what is real, and how do we know that what we know is trustworthy? Plato and Descartes are our ancient guides in these matters, but more recently thinkers like Thomas Kuhn, Theodore Adorno, Michel Foucault or Jean Baudrillard are strong contributors to this line of critical thinking. The second theme has a title, The Reality of the Virtual. In this theme, you will discover that the virtual and the artificial is becoming more and more independent, autonomous, and intelligent. At the same time, we, as biological beings, are becoming more and more dependent upon the virtual and the artificial. This approachment of man and machine, for some reason to believe that we are on the verge of a new transhuman species, needs to be taken into account. We can't ignore the fact that artificial tools and environments determine most of our daily actions and plans. How we will deal with this evolution warrants critical thought, as it will shape our near and far future. In the third theme, your personal responsibility or the lack thereof will be the focus of our attention. Do we really have choices? Or is everything determined by things we have no influence on, like our genetical heritage or our upbringing? Are we determined or are we completely free? And what are the consequences of each of these premises? In this context, you should not only become acquainted with theories about body and mind, but also with views of man as being essentially the only free being in the universe, and thus also the only being with a moral responsibility towards the world. Sartre, Camus, and Heidegger are but a few of the thinkers that have said sensible things about these matters. You will also get to know one interesting thinker who has described three fundamental attitudes man can have towards life, namely Kierkegaard. It is through him that we will get to the fourth theme. This fourth theme tries to introduce an attitude towards life that considers it as a serious game. We can learn a lot from good gameplay, and good games can have a tremendous influence on life. With Huizinga's Homo Ludens as a model, you get to know some hints on what life as a game could mean and how it might help you get a balanced attitude towards the many perils man has to cope with in life. The adage of this theme, life is a game, live it well, proposes a way of living where permanent critical thinking is married with a positive attitude towards man and the world. Of course, one thing is for sure. To really appreciate these words, you have to live that life to its fullest. These four themes are introduced or illustrated through the Matrix movies in the slides you can find in the document section on LeHo. These slides can help you get a more concrete grip on the content. To help you structure your thinking around these four themes, I have constructed a layered tree. The tree has four parts, three being the fundamental components and one part being a collection of examples for the final assignment for third and fourth level students. The first triangle that you see here contains the subjects associated with each theme. You can, for example, clearly see that reality belongs to the first theme and Homo Ludens to the fourth. To get to know the subjects, the slides should be sufficient research on itself. The second triangle has a collection of thinkers that have something useful to say about the theme they are associated with. The thinkers I mentioned while introducing the themes can be easily identified in these triangles. The third triangle contains movies. Each of these movies has something to show about the theme it is in. Most of the movies presented here could be figuring in more than one theme, but they are selected with one prominent theme to help you focus on that specific aspect. So, what should you do with these themes and that tree-like structure? They should help you in your critical thinking and aid you to understand the content of the exam in January. This brings us to what exactly is important for whom. For all students, no matter what level they have reached, a basic understanding of everything that is in the tree is supposed. Everyone should do some research into every subject, thinker and movie, and try to relate these things to the main themes and critical thinking in general. The slides provided in the document section might help you in that context. A full list of the questions you might get at the exam is portrayed here. This list is exhaustive. That means you will get no other questions. If you can answer each question in a decent manner, you should deliver a perfect exam. You can prepare for these questions by doing your own research, by using the slides in the document section, or by working together in small groups on them and discussing possible answers. You are, of course, very welcome in the consult and feedback sessions to work on these questions and perhaps also consult me to see whether you're on the right track. I have also provided forums to discuss these matters amongst yourself. These same forums on LEGO are also the main way to gain points to get to level 3 or 4, if you wish to do so. Should you attain level 3 or 4, then the tree must also be used for your final assignment. In that case, you should select one theme to do some deeper research. Using that theme, you then need to combine a subject, a thinker, and a movie to write an essay about. This essay should, of course, take everything into account you have learned from the previous essay and should be between 800 and 1600 words. For level 4 students, the same principles are valid. Level 4 students have a choice. They can also write an essay, like level 3 students, but I would prefer if they produce an interactive audio-visual piece. This could be a TED lesson, a YouTube video, or a basic game. Some examples of combinations for level 3 and 4 students can be seen in this triangle. These are, of course, only examples, but the principle should always be to combine one subject, thinker, and movie from the same theme, using that theme as the focal point. This work that you do for the final assignment will count for half of the exam points. The other half will be on the content exam itself, based on the questions shown a minute ago. Remember that you should bring your essay with you to the exam, or you will get a level 2 replacement essay on the exam itself. This goes for level 1s to 3s. Level 4s just have to bring a printed version of the URL where the interactive piece can be found. In this overview, you see everything you need to know to be able to pass this part of the course. Always remember that the main focus of this part has everything to do with the title: critical thinking as the basis for creativity. So, enjoy the study and please do make use of the opportunity to interact with each other through the forums and with me as much as possible. It's the only way to really learn in an efficient way.